Bonus Module 1.2 Presentation by Number of Runs. Welcome to Bonus Module 1.2 of your Proform Professional Training course. In this module we will look at the free presentations for number of runs in the last month, 3 months and 1 year. Profiling by the number of runs in the short, medium and long term can throw up some very neat angles into horse fitness, sire robustness and trainers' habits. There are many ways to use the new presentations, 2 of which are: some horses need a different amount of runs to become race fit in varying degrees of time, and some trainers are creatures of habit and prepare a horse's fitness in a very specific way. We will take a look at profiling a trainer in this module. So we have Proform open and we'll open the system builder. We'll hide the buttons down the side to create more space. Size the main area of the screen so the tabs are just on 2 lines, just makes it easier to use. And we'll show you where the new presentations are to start with. So on the presentations tab we've got breakdown by number of runs. So the trainer we're going to have a look at is Nicky Henderson. So we enter Nicky Henderson in the trainer name, and we only want to look from 2008 onwards, so we get the last 5 years, because trainers have an habit of changing their regime as time goes by. So we'll just take the last 5 years for this example. What we'll then do is split into different race types, because trainers have a very different fitness profile with different types of horses. So we'll just take a look at Nicky Henderson's hurdlers. So we select hurdle only in the race types on the race tab. We then simply present by number of runs in the last month. And this looks back over the last 5 years at all of Nicky Henderson's runners in hurdle races and presents them by the number of runs the horses had in the last 1 month. And by looking at the impact values, which are comparing these 3 groups of figures against each other, and the AE values, which are comparing the expected winners against the actual winners, we can see that horses that have not had a run in the last month are producing the best impact value and the best AE value. If we take this to looking at number of runs in the last 3 months, we can see that once again horses coming into a race off of no runs in the last 3 months have the best AE value and the best impact values. So this shows us that the hurdle runners from Nicky Henderson's yard are already fit and ready to go, even if they've not had a run in the last 3 months. If we take a look at number of runs in the last year, we can see that he also does well again with horses coming off the back of not having a run in the last year. But also 1 run is a decent positive, 2 and 3 runs are positives too. And as we get further down, the more exposed horses that are having a lot of runs in the last year, the AE values and the IVs tail off slightly. We'll now take a look at Nicky Henderson's chasers rather than hurdlers. So if we switch to chases in the race types and present by number of runs in the last month. So we're looking at the 5-year period again for chasers and their number of runs in the last 1 month. And again we can see not having a run in the last month is not a negative, in fact a positive with the best IV and AE value. We then have a look over the last 3 months. Once again, not having a run in the last 3 months is not a negative, which again shows that he gets them fit and ready for when they come to the racecourse. And we'll present by number of runs in the last year. And we can see again with the chasers, it's not a negative to have not had a run or only have had one run in the last year. They're still both positives. This feature can be used for much more in-depth analysis. For instance, let's reset the system variables, and we're still going to look at Nicky Henderson, and we're still going to look from 2008 onwards. But this time we're going to look at how his runners perform off of varying breaks going into Cheltenham. So we restrict the months to March and the course to Cheltenham, so we only pick up Nicky Henderson's runners at Cheltenham. And if we first of all just do no breakdown and just look at his overall record since 2008, we can see he's had 19 winners from 209 runners at Cheltenham over that period. If we now present by number of runs in the last 1 month, we can see that the majority of these winners had no runs in the last month or just 1 run in the last month. If we present by number of runs in the last 3 months, we can see that horses coming here off of no runs in the last 3 months have only won 1 from 22 of his runners, whereas horses having 1 or 2 runs in the last 3 months have performed the best when coming to Cheltenham. And if we look at the final one by 1 year, we can see that the spread of number of runs is around the 1 to 5 runs. If we add in the rest of the years and have another look and do number of runs in the last month, we can see that over the last 15 years, either no runs or 1 run in the last 1 month is where all the winners lie. And if we look at the last 3 months, we can once again see that 1 or 2 runs in the last 3 months is the best profile for coming into Cheltenham from Nicky Henderson. So if we now wanted to narrow our search area down to just 1 or 2 runs in the last 3 months coming into Cheltenham, we can use the number of runs grid on the Horse 2 tab. So we know we're looking at the last 3 months, so we enter 3 in the last months box. And we only want to look at 1 or 2 runs, so we enter greater than or equal to 1 and less than or equal to 2. And if we just run our system again, you can see we're only returned those 2 categories from the presentation of breakdown in the last 3 months. We can now use the other presentations to see how the splits work by, say, handicaps and non-handicaps. So we can see that Nicky Henderson's handicaps running at Cheltenham that have had 1 or 2 runs in the last 3 months have won 10 from 141 with an AE of 1.37, and in the non-handicaps 19 from 142 with an AE of 1.18. And we could further analyse these by using all the various presentations that we've got to come up with a full profile for Nicky Henderson's runners at Cheltenham. And this is just one trainer. We could do this for all the trainers and see how they profile their horses on the run up to Cheltenham. In bonus module 1.3, we'll go into a lot more detail about the number of runs grid. Well, that's the end of bonus module 1.2. The presentation by number of runs can help you profile horses, trainers and sires from many angles. We've only touched on looking at the angle of trainers. You can do the same sort of analysis for sires and for individual horses. You can also expand on this research using the number of runs grid in the Horse 2 tab, and there'll be more on this in bonus module 1.3.